I played Metal Gear when I was a little bit younger, shall I say. And all I remember really is the creative boss fights, which, oh my gosh, blew me away. And the ridiculous story, which, I just never followed. Oh, also the way Eva dressed. Eva? Eva? Yeah. I was young. I remember hearing that there were different snakes, liquid snake, solid snake, naked snake. I'm guessing something happened to him to make him from liquid to solid. Or they're completely two different people. I don't know. But we're gonna find out on this road to solidification. Not the best name I came up with.
So there are two versions of Metal Gear 1. The original release for the MSX2 designed by Hideo Kojima, and the heavily altered port to the NES behind Kojima's back. It seems like Konami was already sticking the tip in years ago.
It's inconceivable.
Like, the intros are not even the same. On the NES version, you're parachuting in with 3 other people that you will never see again. And not only that, a major point of the story is that you got sent on a solo mission. Solo! Anyways, I'm going to be playing the remake based on the MSX version of the game that was included in Metal Gear 3's Substance. The un-Konami'd version where you actually see Snake sneak into the base by himself that really sets the tone for the rest of the game. You are codenamed Solid Snake, a rookie from Foxhound who was given a solo infiltration mission to search for another member of Foxhound, Gray Fox, and to destroy Metal Gear. For those of you new to the series and don't know what a Metal Gear is, it's basically a tank that looks like a T-Rex that can launch nuclear bombs from anywhere in the world. In this game, Big Boss, the leader of Foxhound, tells you to infiltrate a base in South Africa called Outer Heaven and destroy Metal Gear before it's fully completed. This is where Solid Snake starts his first ever mission, and all he has is some cigarettes and a mean right hook. Later you will get tons of weapons and equipment, but I would definitely play this old school and look at the manual because it tells you everything you need to know about all the items you need. And I do mean need. This game has a taste of backtracking, opening up new areas that were previously inaccessible with freshly stolen items. You explore the military base going from screen to screen, trying not to get spotted by enemies. If they spot you, then the alarm will sound and the classic exclamation point will pop above their head. At first it's easy and all you have to do is run to the next screen, but later on there is no escape from the constant flow of bodies pouring into the room. If you don't want to get caught, you have to sneak by enemies by remaining out of their line of sight. You have to explore 3 buildings with multiple floors to grab all the items you need to progress in the game, while, sneaking by all these guys. Key cards will open up certain doors, a gas mask will allow you to survive gassy areas, and so on. You will also run into quite a few prisoners of war that at the beginning of the game, you didn't really know how vital they are to beating the game. For every 5 you save, you gain a little star by your class, like in elementary school. The more stars, the more life you have, the more ammo you can carry, which is everything. There are sections in the game where you need a certain amount of ammo to defeat an enemy. There's another one you need a certain amount of stars to talk to someone on the radio. You can easily screw up a run of Metal Gear by killing 1 prisoner. Just 1. This is that type of game, the type that you got as a child and it took you months to beat because you had to memorize where every item was in the game, and there was always that one item that you couldn't find, but when you found it you got so excited that you pulled your controller out of the system, but then you got to the next part and you accidentally missed something or killed something that you shouldn't and have to start all over again. Yeah, this is that type of game. At first I thought this was going to be painful just by the sound of the text every time you open up the radio. Not to mention the radio sound that follows. And you're going to be using the radio quite a bit, especially if you're going commando and not using any online guides, because the radio gives you tips for many situations, even boss battles. Oh, but those tips don't include the really hard to find items. There's a section where you learn you can punch walls to find out if you can blow them up with a plastic explosive. And well, much needed items were hidden behind these elusive walls, and I ended up missing them completely, not knowing until I hit that classic, oh, you need this very special item to progress. All I'm gonna say is I spent quite a while punching walls and killing dogs over and over because enemies respawn when you go off screen. Oh, but there's one thing that really takes the snake, and it's the gas mask sections. You can't open a door with a key card and use your gas mask at the same time, so you end up taking damage every time you go through these parts, and pray that you use the card needed to open the door. Okay, sure, we're talking about a game that came out in 1987, but it goes both ways. The last half of this 5-ish hour game is ridiculously good. Not that there weren't cool sections along the way like the impending Doom Bridge, or mechanics like using a remote control missile to blow up a panel to make the floor safe to walk. But this is where Kojima really starts to mess with you. Things that you have gotten used to doing in the game, mechanics that you trust, they will deceive you. There is a section where you find Dr. Petrovich, which is the guy responsible for the creation of Metal Gear. When you find him, he will appear to be tied up like a regular prisoner of war. But once you release him, it's revealed that he's a fake, and a huge hole opens up in the floor that kills you instantly if you don't haul your solid booty to safety. It's so evil because you don't even know if you have control over your character after he talks. When the hole opens up, you just instantly die the first time. You also already have this expectation of freeing previous prisoners of war. They give you a nice little star, and they also give you good advice on what to do next. One prisoner even gives you important info for the end of the game, but again, Kojima and crew thought it was funny for one of the bosses at the end to use 3 prisoners as a shield. And guess what? The one that gives you the info is the brother for one of the people that are helping you throughout the game on the radio. And guess what? If he dies, she won't help you anymore. But it doesn't stop there. When you finally get what you need to reach Metal Gear and destroy it, Big Boss, your commander, the guy that's been helping you every step of the way, decides to start trolling you. Oh, first he tells you to go into the truck to the right while all hell is breaking loose. The truck moves once you get inside and takes you to the first area at the beginning of the game. This continues every screen. He's like trying to kill you. It gets to the point where he tells you to turn off your PlayStation. This is when you find out that Big Boss, the leader of Foxhound, is also the leader of Outer Heaven. Using the info that Dr. Petrovich gave you after rescuing his daughter Ellen, which looks like a cheat code, you destroy Metal Gear. And all of a sudden, the self-destruct timer starts. Oh, but don't worry, you can slow down the timer by smoking these until now useless cigarettes to give you more time. Now, I doubt those are cigarettes. That's more like cigaweed. After you get high, you reach Big Boss, and he will tell you that he's been using his connections to steal intelligence to turn Outer Heaven to the world's greatest superpower. He sent in Solid Snake, the simple Foxhound rookie, hoping to feed misinformation to him, but underestimated how solid his snake really was. Big Boss started the self-destruct sequence, hoping to take Solid Snake with him, but of course you defeat him and escape Outer Heaven before it explodes in the distance. And guess what Snake says at the end? No big deal. Such a boss. I want to be him when I grow up.
Metal Gear 1 is where my homeboy started to stretch his legs. Kojima was spreading his wings. Other than this game being very old and, the obvious mechanics of it being really old, I really like this game. A simple story which I wasn't expecting from a Metal Gear title, and really great moments which, I don't know, I just didn't expect Metal Gear to have the regular Kojima stuff. I say if you got some extra time, definitely pick this up and play it on the side. Just, dust off the oldness, the retro-ness. It's still a good game. It's still enjoyable. It's really fascinating to see where, certain developers come from in their first game and where you see their minds working and where they're going. And he definitely goes. He goes off, boy. He goes into space, Too much of that cigaweed.